Yes, I'm here with Maya. She was holding my hand, and we're just playing out in the space, out in the universe.
Oh, very good.
We're doing loopings and rolling and just playing. She said this is the way it feels to release your soul from density.
Oh, very good. I'd like for you and Maya to look up in the sky and tell me if you can find a big, white, fluffy cloud.
Oh, there's no cloud here. It's just space. We're
Ah,
outside the yeah, we're floating and playing around in space.
so
We
you're
we are
deep.
going. Yeah, we're really traveling fast. The the stars just swoosh by us. So we are going to this 11th dimension moon together. So we are just playing and having fun while we travel. It's beautiful here.
Very good.
Really nice.
Now I'd like for you and Maya
Yeah, we are arriving to this moon and just settle down on the surface. This is the moon we have visited several times before in the 11th dimension.
very nice.
Coming to,
Very nice.
there are other entities coming and greeting us, and all is they're hugging us. It feels nice. All is happy and smiling. Yeah.
So you have now arrived in the 11th dimension. And where have you arrived at in the 11th dimension?
On this moon I visited before.
Ah, the moon.
Yes.
And can you see the planet as well?
Yes. I see it, and it's really shiny with this aura around that big planet.
Is there a reason why Maya showed up before I was finished with the entire induction? Or you were just under as soon as I got you protected?
She came and picked me up. She just took my hand and we went off.
Were you able to experience the pyramid?
Yes. I'm still carrying it with me as an energy field around me.
Oh, very good.
So I got all that, but I was quick.
Well,
I was,
understood.
yes.
And what does your form look like?
I'm looking at myself, and I just it's like I'm in an energetic form. I have a shape, but no outlining or anything. Like I cannot distinguish my feet or legs from the other uh, energy around me.
And what about Maya's form? How was that?
She's showing up as I have seen her before. She's so pretty, so sweet.
Oh, very good.
But she is
And
also very shiny, so I think she just took that form when she picked me up, so I shouldn't wonder who it was. She acknowledged herself directly to me.
very nice. And who are all these who have gathered to greet you?
There are many here now that are going to manifest to other places and to Gaia and to other celestial bodies also. They are going to go in with this higher frequency and dimension to help people transcend and release all the low density they're keeping on to.
The last time that we came together, Ka came to pick you up,
Yeah,
or you actually, or Sandra picked you up to take you, and you ended up with Ka.
yeah.
Where was Maya then? Just curious.
She said, I was here. I'm always with you.
Oh, very good. And what about Augustine and Isabel? Are they there as well?
Maya say, sure they are, but I can't see them. But they always here when you're doing this.
Well, I'd like them actually to come forward if they will.
Yes. Yes, they're coming.
Are they coming as one or coming in two forms?
They first that one, but they're separated now, so there are two different vibrations.
Oh, very good. And I just, out of curiosity, do they know what my concerns are right now? Maya, I mean, not Maya, well, even Maya, but Augustine and Isabel.
They say that there are many concerns.
But do they don't know what my concerns about these sessions that we're doing are?
They don't say anything.
And what about Maya? Nothing at all.
Why do you have any concern at all, is the message I get.
Well, I have a series of questions unless they had something to share first.
The suspicious in human nature is just holding you down, holding you to low vibration, so it's good if you can release that. It's have the same effect that fear can have.
Is that how they interpret what I'm thinking? Or that's just their interpretation of what they think I may be thinking?
It was just that message they gave to me.
Okay. So,
Suspicious is not good. Maya saying to me, suspicious is not good.
my first thought is it possible to change your contract? Or we're going to use the word contract for lack of a better word, or the mission that we chose, or our intentions and reasons for coming to the planet, and not like the overall mission or what the reason, such as helping the planet in the process, but the particulars.
Yes, you can always change your mind, so to say, but because you have the free will, if you want to go through with this mission, you post upon yourself, but you can step out of that and say, no, I want to do something else, or I will stop with this now. And they will step in others, other energy to do the thing that you don't finish. And so it will always be in balance anyway.
And where will that other energy step into? To someone else, or will someone else be born, or?
It can be that, but mostly on an energetic level to balance up the energy that is flowing through this plan and timeline, they say.
Okay, very good. And so, say for instance, like we were speaking about dying and the physical body dying in our last session. Lars and I, we were having that conversation, and we were going into a lot of details about if a person decided to, we know there's no accidents, there's no mistakes, and but someone may decide to change the contract. Is it possible to uh, to this is a concept I've heard, and I've heard it a long time ago. I just have never brought it up. But there's this whole series of questions will totally make sense, I promise, when I finish it out. Um, is it possible to change? Like we have guardians and we have guides, and then we have our higher aspects. So, say for instance, at one point, Augustine, they said he was my ultimate guardian,
Yes.
and but at the same time, he's a higher he and Isabel are the higher aspect of myself. Um,
Yes. They share they show me a picture of working, but not in that way. They are guide, they are also teacher. Uh, when you do different tasks here, they are there to assist you with what you focus on just in that moment. So they can
okay,
take whatever form they want. So if you're writing, they assist you with that. If you try to give healing to others, they assist you with that. Whatever you focus on, they are there
oh,
for you.
you just say give healing, is that correct?
Yes.
Heal. Okay, and so as is it, but both of their energies combined uh, literally focus their energy into what's considered Henry or Hank to manifest as me and as one. Is that correct?
Yes, and also to reconnect to what you truly you are. Because, as you say, you are a soul, you are not a body. This is just a vessel you take on when you manifest to be able to do this, to go through this experience you have decided to go through.
Understood. And is it normal or natural that more than one energy has come together to manifest as one particular soul in this incarnation?
Yes, but you can still divide up in different kind of work. But and when you change your attention, which is the inner truth of you, when you focus on healing, you have another vibration and another energy. When you focus on teaching, you have a totally different frequency, and so. But they are all connected. But there are different aspects of you, and even aspect of your higher self. But
I
they,
I I the name Isabel and Augustine. Well, Isabel's name, well, both of them, their names kept coming up in the very beginning when I started to do this process, and when I started to do when I started to actually do QHHT, not when I started doing regression back when I was younger, but and they just kept coming forward, and then of course that's how I found out who. I mean, I had a reference point, a name, two names of two entities that have combined their energy to manifest as me, and I would be your avatar, sort of speak. Is that correct?
yes, and
Okay.
we take these labels for you to reconnect. But what we are for you is aspect of your entity, your soul. We are parts of your soul, but we are also one. But as we present us sometimes for when you're doing this kind of work, we present ourselves as like separate being, individual being, but we're not. We're just one entity, but different aspects of that entity. Just like you can have different personality when you're manifested. You can be energetic, you can be slow, you can be knowledgeable, you can have easy for study in school, or different aspect of your personality. And that is in that way also here, but we have no boundaries. So it's all floating together as one.
I understand that. And so, is there, okay, so with that said, we always put labels on everything, and we have the higher self, of course, which I would consider both of them my higher self. And then we have the label of guardian, and then we have the label of guide and fairy godmother and all these different things. Are they all the same?
Yes. And they're showing me now their true energies, and they're showing up just like light and feelings. Create a lot of feelings inside of me, and they show me that they have different purposes when they're helping you. Isabel is more it's more the one that make you go forward, pushing you a little bit. The other energy is there for heal you, take care of you, like a motherly energy for a little child. It's the same feeling as nurturing him and guarding you. And they divide this between them, but they're doing it together also at the same time. So, because you are now here in this density, focusing as a singular being, but you are aware of your connection to the collective, and they help you to reconnect to that collective every day in every moment when you focus on that. When you're doing massage, they're helping you with the. It's done when you do the most of your healing, but you also do healing with your writings and your paintings. The paintings healing not only you, but others that can connect to it. Your writing healing a lot of people that connect to it. And when you're focusing on doing this thing, they have different parts in that for you as being manifested here now.
And that's understood, and I'm very thankful for that. And with that thought said, are there others? Is there other energies? Which one? I know there are some people. Some people I have, and I'm asking these questions not just for me, because I think just by you explaining how your connection to me, we have a lot more people who are listening to what's going on now, and I know some of them, they can go back and find some of this information. But Lars has such a great connection, and he's now able to explain things so well. So we're sort of rehashing a little bit here, so
we also want to clarify that when you're manifesting here, you manifest as a collective to different societies. So you manifest together with, some of you call it soul friends or twin
flames, soulmates.
Yes. So you have them surrounding you even in your daily life, in your manifestation. Hank has Eddie that manifested with him in the desire to. They do different work, but they are still aspect of each other. Hank is an aspect of Eddie, and Eddie is an aspect of. It's just a different energy, just a different vibration. It's like when you're tuning a radio into the station. You're aware of there is a station around that, but when you're focusing, that is when you connect to this different level of vibration and energies. So you have them around you, you have had them around you a child, it can be your parents, your siblings, or whatever, they are here, and they are a part of you, and you are a part of them. It's very important to remember this, that nothing is happening by accident or by it's meant to be, because you have already...
Coincidence.
Yeah, you have, yes, exactly. You have already decided to do this. And you can decide to do it all over, but you can also change roles in the manifestation. You can become almost like your father, or your likeness of your father or mother, and take that kind of energy they come here with to express and to learn of course. So you are a big society connected together, and in the end we are all connected, but you're surrounding with the right energy that you need, and they are all aspect of your inner soul.
Well, I can really feel like now, even though when I asked originally, do they know what's on my mind? And I feel like a real connection has now been made, because without me even asking, you just literally answer what I was going to ask about all the people that are surrounding myself. And you said it, and you just broke it down really nicely, and I'm really grateful for that. And it's not just for me, this is all for all of us here on the planet. When we go into these sessions, and like the last session I did, and they go, man, you have all these people around you, or all these entities that are around you, and I'm like, okay. And so here you say
Everyone
it's
has
Eddie,
that.
it's my I have 5 brothers and 3 sisters, and my parents, and
Yes.
okay.
They all
And
are part of you, they're all a part of your journey, they're all a part of your manifestation, and what you had set your mind to experience when you come into this density. You are cooperating together very closely, and everyone manifested on your planet has the same thing, but it's your society that has, and the programs that are running, that are making you feeling maybe sometimes lonely and singular, but you never are that at all. You're always connected, but you can turn that off and not reconnect to that purpose that you came in here with. So that's why we sometimes say to you that it's so important to understand that you're also much more than this vessel you're in, your body, or you're also much more than your work or your title or anything like that. That is just experience you experiencing here and now. That's just small part of what you bring back into this big swimming pool.
well, that's always been my main goal for that. What you just said literally has really been my main goal for posting these sessions, so people can see that they're so much more than what they thought they were. That is almost like, I feel like one of my missions, to let people know you're so much more than what you think you are.
Yes.
And I really think that by me asking these questions about myself right now, especially about my higher self, and it's just going to help a lot of people to be able to relate to exactly what's been said, because I don't think it just pertains to me. There it is.
It's for everyone. All questions, all answer is for every being on your planet and every entities in this universe. So there's nothing that are separated from anything. It's really important to remember this. So what you focus on is resonating through all of this universe you are reciting in now. It does not that easily travel over to the other universes, because they are vibrating in different frequencies. So It's like trying to get in a radio channel that's not really reachable for your receiver to do. So, but we try to explain this very thorough, because even if you ask as a singular being, as the being of Hank, ask question about me or the singular, it's also important for everyone else to understand that this is also for them to understand how they are related to everything else, all living energy in this universe.
Understood. And so here's my next question, still pertaining and running along these lines. As we're here physically manifest, it is possible for us to call on other guides and say, for instance, if like when I was teaching my student and I was like, man, I really like to have some education angels, that's for lack of a better word, education angels or light entities to come in and help me with whatever I need to teach these particular classes. Is it, we can, and I, of course, I'm just assuming that anyone that will come in is still going to be an aspect of myself because we're all one. But we can call out for assistance.
Yes,
from
you
the
can.
higher.
Yes, you can. You can have that attention for the good of outside yourself as an ego. So usually when you're asking for that, is Augustine stepping in, that energy of Augustine stepping in, and Isabel is there also guiding you in the way you're tutoring, in the way you put it, because she can see what this other entity or your student is in need of to connect with, to be able to take what you tell this person, to take that into their inner self. So they are always there, and you can, sometimes we can say as this, maybe they are busy otherwhere, but you will always be heard when your attention and your heart is set to the right frequency. If you're asking and praying for a benefit for your ego, no, that's not going to happen. You can manifest it yourself if you want to, but we have passed through that now. It's time to reconnect collectively. It's very important, reconnect. So if you now have your attention to, I want a new shiny golden car on my driveway, you're not going to have that because your attention not in the right frequency, in the right direction. If you instead have the intention of, I need a car to help people to do this or that, then you're going to have the car. So
that makes sense, and that we covered that, and that always appreciative to when it's reiterated. So here's my next question then. In these sessions that we do, is it possible for the person who's induced to answer about information that's beyond their concept?
when they're channeling, yes.
It is possible.
Yes,
I mean,
they can channeling the messages, but sometimes if they're outside their own abilities as an entity, it can be hard for them to put words to what they get. They can still feel the feelings and see the image, but it's maybe hard for them to
interpret.
Not maybe interpret. They can understand what they feel, but they can't make you understand what they feel.
Well, that's understood. Well, say for instance, we asked about RH blood, and he went into a whole thing about RH blood, and Lars knew nothing about that at all, and then he went back and he looked it up. about, and then he was surprised that, wow, everything that he said went right along with what the information was that he found,
Yes,
because I guess he had the vocabulary to be able to describe what he
yes,
was asking.
yeah.
As you're connecting with Lars right now, are you is everything in images and images and symbols, or is there a telepathy, a verbal telepathy, where you're speaking in his language that he can understand what you're saying? And he
It's a little bit of all. He got many images that he set word to. He also gets Maya talking to me with words,
Okay,
but she talks to me in Swedish. So he tried to interpret that or translate it into other languages sometimes. So, but it can be 50-50.
okay. And whenever I feel like, and I know it's 9 times out of 10 when we're having these sessions that I may not understand, or you answer, like Maya gives an answer, Lars interprets it, and then but he's only interpreting what she's saying, or in the best that he can in English, and I may misunderstand it. Is that feeling that when I'm getting that feeling and I reiterate again, I know Lars says he really likes when I do that because it really helps.
And
Um,
that's a good thing because you're helping him to interpret it also by putting that attention into reinterpret the answer sometimes because he wants it to be as clear as possible, but he can't do anything else than translate what we say to him or what we show him. But sometimes when we show some things, it's also for you to take in that even if you don't understand it for the moment, there is maybe not another answer for you that is better. It's the answer that you need now. But it's good when you're re-editing the question sometimes because it's helping him to easier interpret it and find. And we try to help him with the translation, but sometimes some words are not existing in your language in the same way it's existing in his language. So he tried to find a synonym for it.
Understood.
So that
And
can be misinterpreted sometimes.
well, I just wanted to make it clear also is there wasn't, you used the adjective suspicion. It's not that I was suspicious about the sessions that we're having. It was that I just wanted to really clarify for myself and for everyone who's listening, because there seems to be more and more and more people listening. And when someone comes in for the first time and they're trying to interpret what they're hearing, I mean, I had this one lady go into this, well, you need to just shut up and don't say anything and just let them say whatever. And it's like, and I didn't respond back to her. you know, I'm trying to make sure that I understand what's being said in the first place to clarify, and
Yes, you
I
are
don't
the
have to
one
share.
asking the question. We are the one that try to help you to understand. And when we try to help you understand, it's not only for you as a singular being, it's for the masses. But when people come in with that low density to take themselves and put them in a higher position that they are in the title of criticize your work, they're holding a density that is not resonating with the message that is coming out. They should go back and listen to other messages maybe, or they should just, maybe they can go to an earlier sessions and follow it like there's a red thread in everything. There's a path we follow, and this part is taking different routes. So when
Well,
people,
you're right. It's good.
Yeah, so when they come in here now and listen to what you're trying to put out for them, some of them are going to get the message directly because they are in the same right frequency and vibration. Some of them are just going to think this is schizophrenic or stupid or sick. And there are always going to be that different interpretation of it. But you should not focus on what they think. You should focus on what you do and what your attention are. So let them have their opinion, because it's going to change, even if they now say that do this, do that, do this, because they want to adapt the surroundings instead of adapt their self or their true inner self. And that is just that they want, that is the thing they want to get, but they are not aware of that is the thing they need to know for the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like if if I was doing this so wrong, you wouldn't do it with me. I mean, you would just like we would get nothing. No one
Yeah,
would show up to
exactly.
talk to listen to
And
me or
Lars
listen
should
to
not be
us.
able to interpret what we're saying either if you had a wrong, can we say, set of mind or mindset when you do this. If you're doing this just out of ego, you should be getting the same message over and over and over again, and that is not happening. It's developing, and the path you're going is developing. For you as manifested entities, you and Lars here on this planet, you're going this path together now, helping people to wake up. And you find other ways to do that. Hank do it in different ways also, by healing and poems and paintings, and Lars do it in other way. But you have always the same intention, is to wake up people to step into that other reality where we need to be now. Many of these planetary beings need to step in that now, so we can get rid of that low density and low vibration. We don't need that anymore.
Okay, so thank you very much for that, and was a great explanation and a very much needed explanation. So that's basically what I was when I said, are they familiar with what my concerns were? And my concerns were literally about the work that we're doing and how we're being received by some people. And a majority of the people, listen, a majority of the people, and you already know, are really enjoying and really growing and expanding from this. I get lots and lots and lots of people, but every now and then I get a few people who will leave a message, and we already understand that or whatever, but like changing our contract was something that came to my mind. I have no desire to change my contract, but you hear people say, well, you can change your contract. I even heard someone say that you can change your guardians and your guides if you're not happy with the ones that you have. I don't know. How does that sounds like a wild concept, but
you cannot change the contract. You can choose to step out of that contract. But
okay.
It's still going to be fulfilled for when you made up that contract. We don't really like the name of contract. It sounds like it's something that is binding for whole of your manifestation. It's not that way at all.
But the intent we put to do when we came.
That intent will live on, even if you decided to let go of the work you're doing now. That intention you had will go on anyway. So in a way you can step out of that field or that contract, so to speak, and you will not be judged in any way or form, they're saying here. And now Isabel is stepping forward, putting up a finger and say, Hank, you are suspicious in a way because you have that experience in your life when you have been attacked. And that's a part of the experience you're here to understand when you manifest. She almost waved with her fingers. Bah, 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 she's saying, but she's saying that with love. But understand that is that is an experience your soul wanted to experience. So it's nothing wrong by being a little suspicious and cautious sometimes, because that was what you wanted to learn when you manifested. You are not, you are not, you are not fully learned of all that is going on this planet when you come in. You come in with an attention and you're focusing on that, but you're also filling up this swimming pool with your experience. So don't think that is something wrong or something you need to get rid of. That is a part of you, and it's a lovely part of you that's making good for so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you, you already know I'm not, it's not like I'm just saying I'm not going to change or I'm not going to grow from it or what have you, but, I'm, I don't think that I went through all those things in my childhood by mistake
No,
to prepare me for who I am today.
no, you wanted that experience. You wanted to share that experience into this pool or library of all knowledge, all understanding. So you're still having a part in that, of course. So it's still a part of your manifested personality. And it will always be through all of your life. The most important thing is that you are aware of it, that you're aware of this is a part of my experience, resonate with it, accept it, and it will not have any bad effect on you as soon as you are aware of it. But you will still be suspicious, you will still be that kind that people sometimes not resonate with when they think you talk too much or are too pushy or aggressive. That does not matter. Don't focus on that. Focus on the thing you are here to do.
Well, that's why I keep going. And for real, I know that you're always there, but whenever we do these sessions and we have someone like Ka coming forward and Maya, which I have much love and respect for them, I always, I feel like, okay, I need Augustine and Isabel to come forward. I know they're there, but I want them to be in the space as well. And
Yes, and they are.
I there I just like them. I like for as everything is going on, as Lars is experiencing everything he's experiencing in the sessions with Maya or Ka or whoever comes for Sandra, to have Isabel and Augustine there as well and in eyesight. And I don't think that's asking for too much. I know he says he feels your energy there, but I don't know. It just sort of makes me feel better because I know that, have we ever been infiltrated in these sessions with messages that are incorrect, or have we ever been deceived by any of the messages that we've been receiving?
The only one that can deceive you is yourself. If you have your, can we say, mindset or soul set, we can call it, in the right order, so nothing will affect that and the truth will come out. But if you go in with a feeling of fear or density, it can be misinterpreted. But we try to help you asking the question, to ask the question in the right way, also to get this to resonate in the right vibration.
Well, I'm not afraid. If I was afraid of this, it just wouldn't do it at all. If I was so afraid that any of the information that I was getting, well, from any particular person especially Lars, because we do so many, I would have just stopped a long time ago.
Yeah, but there is a little part of your personality, as we said, about this suspicious. By asking the question, are we influenced? It's also expressing, I'm a little suspicious. But you are not.
The reason why is because of the conversations that we have before we get started. And, I don't like, I know there's a culture difference And I know Lars's sense of humor is different than mine. And I try to say I'm not trying to tell you how to act or what to say or how to be with me. But if you have particular, if you if you can tell by if you're approaching me in a particular way that it's going to trigger a particular something that I don't absolutely like or whatever, I'm like,
Yeah, so
oh,
maybe
I
that
don't
is
think
the
that's
thing you
because
need to think about.
your it feeds it. It's like feeding it for me, and I'm like, I would prefer not to do that. I try not to. I don't do anything that I wouldn't want anyone to do to me. And if I feel uncomfortable with something, if I try and say it, I'm not trying to dictate them or tell them to be a certain way or do a certain thing. And of course, I don't believe there's any accidents or mistakes. So every time it happens, it's probably giving me an opportunity to choose who I am in relationship to what's being said. Can I see the love of this person who works with me and has worked with me for eons throughout eternity? Or am I still just going to focus on the negative part or the low vibration that is triggered within me to respond in the way that I do? I see it from all angles. I do for sure.
Yeah, but you have to understand that when this is happening is the experience you're having now in this 3D world in your expression here. When he tried to say some jokes that you're not resonating with or even feel bad about, maybe that's a good thing. You are getting aware of what you're reacting on, and when you're going to react on that in a certain way, you need to see that for yourself, and then it will stop automatically. We want to push this very hard for you, and we talked to Lars many times also about this. He can be perceived sometimes to be rude, and that is not his intention. But when you perceive him as rude, he's feeding into your experience here, and also into his own experience here. So it's a purpose behind that also.
That is true, but I would rather, it's like either I can focus on it, or I can say, you know what, I have no desire to have this experience anymore and just change the page.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to chop my nose off to spite my face or anything like that, but there's just certain things that I have no desire. I have free will to choose if I'm going to relate with someone. And if I can't relate with them in a way that makes me feel comfortable, then I don't want to relate with them anymore. I don't want to be constantly challenged that's what,
Are you listening to what yourself saying now? Because what you're saying is, I don't want this experience that I decided to have. It's contradictory. But we can say that you can say, no, thank you, I don't want this, and go on. Of course, you have to choose your own path. But if you're going to have him to stop saying certain things, others going to start to say it instead, because that is what you desire to experience. Because everything that's triggering you to get a feeling, even if it's a bad feeling for you, it's not bad for you. Lars is the same. He can feel very bad about some things, and he don't want to have that feeling because it's not comfortable. But he's going to experience that feeling until he's integrated it into his own experience here.
Well, yes, but listen, if the person that I'm going to have that experience is, if someone that I'm working with and I'm trying to do good with, I just said it. Yes, I have no desire for that, because I don't have that with a lot of people at all.
Yes.
And if there's something like, okay, Hank, but you really need to get used to that. I'm not going to get used to being what I feel like when I'm being verbally abused by someone in order to, I thought, we weren't here
Of course not. Of course not. You are going to have to accept this abuse from someone else. When the intention is to abuse you, it's wrong. When the intention is to choose something for you that you have to experience, it's a good thing. But when you resonate and when you use your intuition, you can separate between this. It's really easy for your inner true self to separate what is said for being abusive because they want to have this experience. Then you don't have to feed into that. When it's needed for you to have the experience, you have already decided to have it. But of course you can say, thank you, but no thank you. That's free will. And if it don't stop, we can say that you can take another path. If you're fed up with it, if you're finished with it, you can just step out.
Isabel and Augustine, you know how I am?
Yes.
And I know I'm in a constant state of trying to be better and to grow and to expand my awareness. And even though I'm here on a mission to do X, Y, and Z or what have you, but somebody make an attempt to stress me out on a daily basis, or having to be stressed out on a daily basis with something or whatever, I have no desire for that ever at all. I mean, I was told that I wasn't even going to come here to this realm if Eddie didn't come to this realm, and which I find really, really interesting. And anyway, I'm not trying to make this whole thing about me, but I know
it's not about you.
A lot of people can relate to this type of thing. There are people who get into marriages and relationships and friendships or whatever, and I figure what I put out is what I should get back. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not putting that out, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, I don't want anyone to change or to try and dictate how they present themselves or whatever, but
yes, but we want to say like this. You are exactly right. In your reality, you are right. But you have to understand that if someone is getting beat by their spouses, is that not a bad action? Yes, of course, in the eyes of you, it's a bad action. Should we step in to correct it? Yeah, if you feel you should correct it, you should do that. But do you think that the spouse that is going to be beaten enjoy that? Or is it a part of the experience? Even bad things are needed to be known about, and a lot of things you can only experience in a body, in a manifestation.
That's true. And then you can also choose that I have no desire to experience that anymore, and move and get out of that scenario before they're dead.
Yes.
Before something goes overboard.
But even people are going to beat to death. Is that a part of this experience that they wanted to have? Some people are just going to be killed in a car accident. No one chooses that in this density to do that on purpose. Yeah, some do if they are out doing suicide. But and people can even change their mind then. If you crash your car or motorcycle into a concrete post, you have a chance to say, no, wait a minute, I wanted this experience, but I still have something to do. And then you will not die. You will still keep your density and your three-dimension body. So when people sometimes say, oh, it's a miraculous thing happening, no, it was you decided to keep on going. So, yeah, it's hard to understand that how can anyone choose to get hurt? And yeah, but that's a part of their experience that they wanted to have when they manifested here.
That's understood. And how beneficial do you think this conversation that we're having right now will be for the people who are listening in?
It's very important. It's important to understand that even if it seems cruel, unfair, and so on, and you cannot change it, and that is then not meant to be changed, because when I stepped into this reality with the intention to be abused or be loved or be whatever in feelings, they have that intention from the beginning. So it's very important for everyone to see this and understand that all of this is a part of, we don't like to call it a program, but the intention from your soul to put into this knowledge bank, into this library, into this pool. But you always need to go back to your inner truth, to your inner self, to your soul, and try to, can I understand this? Yes, I understand it. Can I accept it? No, I cannot accept this going on. And then you maybe change your attention to be active in stopping abuse against women or children or whatever. Then that is meant to be also. We can take an example that Lars has experienced himself by helping a lady out of a very abusive situation. And she had decided to be helped out of that, but she wanted to experience the abuse when she manifested. So everything that is happening is meant to happen. So even if it's bad. But if you now step out of this reality, this dimension, and this three-dimension reality, all of that is going to lose the grip of you. That's why we urge you to try to understand that you are so much more than a human here on the earth. This is just an experience you are going through. You can keep your body and step into the fifth dimension, and you will still keep your body if it's dear to you. It's you that decide what path you're going, and you have that free will to choose that. But as long as you keep on holding on to fear or feeding into that low vibration density by the system you're living in or whatever, then it's going to take you a longer time to transcend. And we from this side and all of the entities that are in your reality now helping you are really wishing for you to take this step. It's not any dangerous. It can be dark inside the threshold, but as soon as you step in, the light is turning on, and you will understand it.
So isn't it, I mean, I figured that's what our intentions for being here in the first place, someone like myself and for Lars to come here because those experiences are no longer required. We've learned everything we can from the low vibration, and we've learned everything we can from being opposites and from dark and from fear, and it's no longer serving us. And so
that's
which is
right.
Basically a lot of how I make a decision, because I'm like, that's not serving me to argue or to be in that scenario. I can just change it and not have to deal with it whatsoever.
Yes.
I mean, because I thought I had already ascended past that, and so I know that I'm here, and so now to have to keep facing it all, to keep having to have that exact same challenge is like me almost getting lost back in the sensation of it. You say we don't have karma here. Some of the light workers that come in to do this type of work, and the entities that come in to do this work. And so does that make sense when I say, that's why I say I don't want to have to deal with that, because
you're correct. You can choose to step up. You can choose whenever you want to stop having that experience, because it's what's going to happen when you step into next reality. That is what's going to happen. And many of you are going to choose to get rid of your manifestation in the form of this body. Many of you can bring the body. Many will understand that, why should I choose to drag this lump of meat with me everywhere when I don't need it? Because it's not the body that are connected with other. It's your soul that are connected. So, yes, you're perfectly right.
So are we not here to step out of, to help this whole planet, this whole universe step out of this density into a higher density, because those type of things that I'm talking about just no longer serve us anymore?
Yes. And the word of karma was so much misinterpreted because it was never meant to hold you to suffering and to low density. It was meant for you to use for going through your experience in this lifetime or in earlier lifetimes.
That's understood.
So that is not playing any role in the ascension, and you will not bring that with you. Whatever baggage you're carrying now, you will not bring that into the next reality. When you step over that threshold, it's just going to fall off you, like a baggage or a rucksack or whatever you can call it as a metaphor. But you can, when you do that, and when you decide that as a collective, because it's important that you do it as a collective, then all of this lower density will just vanish like magic.
Oh, very good. Well, I'd like to go ahead and change the subject altogether, in a sense. And my next questions are, what during this process, this ascension process that we're speaking about, could you please expand upon the different extraterrestrial races that we've seen with Lars, and all the different types of entities that he has been, and all the different type of entities that I have been, and the ones that are around the planet and helping with this process, and how you see our relationship developing in physical form?
If you understand this right, you really ask about how you are going to connect to them in a different way than you're able to do now. Is that right?
Yes, but because, well, I know that there are light entities and higher vibrational entities that are around the planet as well, but I know there's also entities that have physical 3D bodies as well. And so I'm wondering how is that going to play out, the connection,
they are still going to lower the vibration and manifest here for you to be able to, if you are in a physical form, to be able to relate to them. But you are also going to have the ability of telepathy, yes.
That's telepathic communication with our minds, the communicating with our minds.
Yeah, and that's when it's not. Then it's in that moment it's futile to keep on lying, because you're not able to go to lie to anyone, because you are one with them when they manifest here with you. So when they come in for a higher frequency, they have to go down in frequency and intensity for you to connect. But you're also going to have meeting with extraterrestrial beings that are manifested on many places in your galaxy and in many other galaxies. You're going to have a physical, you can shake their hands and you can share with them understanding and knowledge and everything like that. So it's going to be a physical meeting. It's also going to be meeting on a deeper level or a higher level.
In terms of the society, it's going to take quite a while for the people who are still totally unaware of what's happening on the planet to
Yes,
get to say,
to
I don't know,
transcend.
where compared to where, and I don't know how. I've heard it before in other sessions about where I was at and where Lars was at in terms of this ascension process. Um, Obviously, we have a lot of information, and I guess light is information, so that makes us much a bit more expanded than the average person who just doesn't know anything. But it was really interesting. There's a gentleman who has a connect with the Blue Avian, and they told him that he was not prepared, even though he's the spokesperson, that he was not prepared energetically enough to make it through the transition or the ascension into 5D
Yes.
in the moment. And
But many of you are already resonating and vibrating in 5D, but you're not aware of it. But you are. But when you finally decide to do this collectively, then it's when all of this lower density is going to lose grip of your planet, and you are able to transcend. And yes, it's going to take time. It's like imagine a toddler is growing up, getting more and more knowledge and understanding as they grow up, but you have been taught the wrong kind of knowledge when you're growing up from the wrong kind of sources, your government, your different.
understood.
Yeah. So when you all understand that this has been going on, and this is time to change, it's going to change faster and faster and faster, and it's happening now. It's really happening now, and you as Hank are already in five dimension vibration. But when you're doing this work, you're going down in vibration to be able to do this. And you're still holding on to your body and have not decided to step out of that reality. So in a way you have a denser reality with your body, but not with your soul. Your soul are already in the fifth dimension.
And are all souls already in the fifth dimension in a sense, relatively speaking?
No, not all have transcended to that. Many are kept in 3D, many are in fourth dimension, many is transcending into fifth dimension, and it's going faster and faster and faster, but you think linearly. So linearly speaking, you can feel it take forever, but if you don't think of a timeline, it's going to happen yesterday.
Well, yeah, I've been saying it for years that I was already there.
Yes.
What about Lars?
He's there. And
Okay.
he's easily so transcendent between different frequencies now. So whenever he need to or focus on to do this kind of work or other works, he's there directly, because he has put a lot of effort and training into this. And that is why we urge you other also to do, and it's not hard to do. It's so easy, so you not can imagine it. It's so easy. Just go out an hour, sit on a beach looking out of a lake, or go to a stream, go out in the forest, and then you connect. And when it's going to be quiet in your brain chatter, is then you are able to connect directly. So when you learn to do that, even when the shattering around you is going on, then you are not will hold on to that lower density. It will lose the grip of you automatically.
Oh, very good. So, with that said, could you I always remember after we did the questions for the subscribers, and at the end you said that we could ask, what does the energetic signature of the planet look like now, and what will it look like once we are able to, once we do transcend this dimension. So I would ask in this moment now, what does the energetic signature look like in terms of how many people or percentages of people who are out of vibration to make the transition? How does the planet look or feel?
They're showing me a picture of a big plain of grass that is on fire, and the wind is sweeping the fire in front of. So I guess they mean that it's growing like a wildfire or something like that, and expansionally, expansionally. No, what do they say? Exponentially.
Okay.
It's growing, and we can say that almost there is, we say, of all of these inhabitants on your planet, is no, when they transcend, they will not still longer stay here. So will not longer be 7 billion people on this planet, and the planet is doing just fine, and it's transcend with you, and with your attention and with your reconnection, it will heal every wound you caused it. And you will also change your societies, your realities in form of cities and villages and urban places will change. When you go out in the urban places, it will be very pristine, it will be almost feeling blissful, but you can even have that feeling when you are in a city, because there are going to be cities in the future, but they will change. The hostility is gone, the low density is gone. You can go out on the street and don't need to look behind you because someone is going to hurt you. That is gone. So that is not longer going to have a part in your perception of your reality.
Very good. And something just popped into my head as you said the cities. We keep hearing about the cities of light, and then it reminded me of the enchanted complex that I was writing about, and a lot of people said it reminded them of this movie. I can't call the name of it. But when we hear of the City of Lights, and we hear that the City of Lights are getting closer and closer, I guess vibrationally, to this level of existence, what can you tell us about the City of Lights, please?
The cities of what you call light is the one that you create. It's the one you create with the right mindset or soul set. And that expression of light is that it's on a higher level, where just the density of fear and all of that fear mongering has left you as a reality. It will not longer be a reality for you. So that is a form of the city's delight in the cities.
And are there populations from people who have already transcended and left the planet and are now fifth dimensional beings because, say for instance, if their contract or what they came here to do is complete, and are there lots of entities that are already there waiting for us?
Yes.
To
the planet or that reality is already created, just waiting for you to step on.
That's one thing. There's a very famous channel named Daryl Anka, and he channels an entity, higher aspect of himself called Bashar, which happens to mean, I believe, messenger anyway. And he's always speaking about the cities of lights. and he said that they're actually lowering, like they're in the atmosphere of the planet, out of our vibrational frequency, but they're coming closer and closer. Is that something to when will they literally meld with so they it seems like they're in the air just because of the way we reference vibration as in high or low from our own perception, but is that the something that will literally sort of meld with the planet and I mean lower itself in so as we rise in vibration, how they say is above so below, and this is what the what we're going to develop to. Does that make any sense?